Thank you for staying with us here on We Connect. Going back to this conversation that I'm having with Stephen Lucier, he represents the De Beers Group and is the CEO of Forever Mark, which is a branch of that group. Now, we were talking about the different kinds of jewelry and Indian jewelry, you know, traditional designs versus, you know, modern designs. Let me ask this. In India, which of these two sort of types of jewelry do you think really has a future in terms of your diamonds, in terms of the use of diamonds?
Yeah, you know, it's a great question, and one that whenever I'm in India looking in the stores, yes, you know, I always feel, oh, you know, where do we focus? The more I come and the more I look, the one thing I've noticed is that actually the Indian consumer wants it all.
Oh, really?
And
greedy?
And we have to be careful about selecting. Why? Because there are jewelry plays different roles for different occasions in India. So there's always going to, I believe, be a role for the more traditional forms of jewelry in this country. Where other countries, sometimes I look at it, I think I can see
yes,
it changing. I go to China, and actually, you know, you might not know you're in China if you're in Shanghai. Maybe it's New York or maybe it's Tokyo.
Anywhere in the world you could be.
India is not like that. I think India cherishes its culture and its traditions.
That's true.
And protects them. And as a result, there will always be a role for that sort of jewelry. But at the same time, you know, I guess this must be complicated being an Indian woman now, because another part of you, you know, has to live part of her life in a different way.
That's true.
And, you know, the more international companies, the more Indian women who work for companies that are traveling the
yes,
world. And in that, they have to create this other persona as well. And that's where, particularly for Forever Mark, I think that's where, you know, our home can be, because we can help the Indian woman to understand what are the sorts of diamonds and jewelry that would be really appropriate for that facet of her pretty complex life.
Very complex indeed. Take it from me, Stephen. Take it from me. Now, when it comes to actually designing the jewelry, I just needed to ask, do you actually get it designed in India? Is it done like that? Do you bring in the diamonds to here and then it's all put together here? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, we've taken a really, I think, unique approach to jewelry design with the idea of Forever Mark. And that's recognizing that in every country, people's desire for designs are a little bit different. And what they want to wear regularly is different. And, you know, we could design a single approach, and we do have a design institute in Milan that creates design ideas. But we've realized the way to be most effective is for us to concentrate on really selecting the diamond, to make sure that that diamond is one of the most beautiful diamonds in the world, and one that someone's going to be extraordinarily proud to own. And then we will work with our partners, be they leading Indian retailers, or if I'm in a different market like Americans, I'll work very closely with them to turn those diamonds, and obviously for me to make the diamonds this hero, but to build around that a setting that makes them best for their customers. And so when you go into the world of Forever Mark, if you went into a store in China that had Forever Mark, you'd see very different designs than if you went into a store here in Chennai. For that matter, you'd see different designs than if you went into a store in Mumbai or Delhi, because they all reflect the local desire and local tastes. And while there's some commonality, there's as much difference. And I think that, you know, in the world of luxury, to me, that's really exciting. One of the things I don't like about today's global luxury goods industry is I'm in an airport, I can be in any airport in any place in the world, and I see the brand, I go in and it's the same thing. And somehow I don't feel so special anymore.
I know, that's right.
Where actually what I want to do with Forever Mark is if you go into one Forever Mark jewelry partner or another, it's a different world. And you can find that thing which is unique and individual to you, but always built on a core promise that the diamonds in there are amongst the most beautiful diamonds in the world.
Right. Now, talking about these beautiful diamonds, De Beers has achieved, it's kind of the world leader. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. There's very little doubt about this in anybody's mind when it comes to diamonds. What do you believe is the way your group has actually achieved this pinnacle of, excellence, really?
Well, it certainly is a unique story because, De Beers was founded in 1888
Long time.
in South Africa, and from the first day of its foundation, it was the leading company in the industry.
How?
And now, 120 years later, it is as well. Originally, I think because it found the world's biggest diamond mine. But, as the century literally has passed, there are a lot of other people producing diamonds today. But how have we maintained that leadership? I think it's because, when I say it, it sounds a little corny, but really we just have this dream of what a diamond should be. And we do whatever it takes to make sure that dream, the preciousness, the emotion, the specialness, the uniqueness is preserved.
How is that done? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how do you do that? You're talking about this dream, and how do you achieve that?
Yeah, well, in part, it's about effective marketing programs that help new people see that can be part of their lives. Often people think, as I said, when they first hear diamonds, like, oh, they're so expensive.
So expensive, can't
but
afford
actually,
it, not for me.
There is diamond jewelry, and there are diamonds that can be right, even if you don't have, riches. In a place like America today, 9 in 10 women in America own a diamond, and it's precious and special to them. So we work hard to make sure that's the case, that the retailers are creating experiences for their customers that they enjoy, and that our industry can be competitive with theirs. At the same time, we work very hard to make sure that as the diamond follows its journey, we would say,
yes,
the journey from the mine all the way to the consumer's finger, that if it's going to be a precious thing for her, that we make sure that she can be proud of that, and that along the way, that diamond has created a positive wave and a positive impact. And that's, I think, an important part in today's world of keeping the dream alive for the next generation.
Right. Your company also is very anti-corruption, and I think this is one of the things you probably pride yourself on. I'd like to ask you about that.
It's absolutely true, and it's in many ways for a simple reason. The diamond business is a very long-term commitment. Take, for example, building a new diamond mine. We probably have to invest $1 billion, and we probably have to wait 10 years after we've started investing that to even see any of the first diamonds emerge from the mine. And then we want to be in that country for 20, 30 years. In some cases, like Namibia, we've been there 100 years, mining the same.
So really long
So you're in there for a long period of time.
A long haul, really, yes.
And, what you learn if you're going to be there for a long time is that the only way to stay there is if you operate in a completely uncorrupt way. Because governments come, governments go, but if you want to be a long-term player, you have to stick absolutely to your own ethics and your own beliefs. And we found if we do that, then actually we can stay effectively in a country.
Right.
Where if you behave another way, you might find 5 years later someone wants you out. So it's not a long-term view to behave in that way.
Right. Stephen, please don't go anywhere, because we'll get right back with you here on WeConnect. And you, my viewers, you please stay there whilst I continue this discussion with Stephen Lucier.